All right, everybody. Sorry about the delay. I was on a call with a customer. He was trying to get his SKR E3 Mini working and didn't realize the CR10 V3 was a completely different model from the CR10. So I was trying to get him into hot mic. Oh, hang on. Just trying to get him going on some check. Wait, there we go. That's better. All right. Just trying to get him going with getting that working on there, because it will work with there. It's more work because it's not a drop-in board. So I do have something I wanted to show here. I actually took some screenshots. I've been hanging out in the Facebook groups a little bit more, and I got some interesting screenshots of examples of why you shouldn't be leaving your printer unchecked when it comes to tin wire terminals, and also people getting upset because I'm telling them that their printer is dangerous. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll have these little fails here. So if you guys are not aware, we have a Facebook group for Creality CR10 Ender series printers, and that's where these are from. So you guys can check them out. Why we tell you guys not to tin wires. This is one of the reasons here. So if this guy had gone in and checked his wires and just cut them off, cut the tin wires off of the ends here and then put it back in, he would not be needing to try to find a new control board. Yeah, so, and this unfortunately is the CR10 V2, which these boards, they're hard to find. And yeah, so this is completely toast. Now, you could desolder this and solder a new terminal on, but not many people have the tools or the parts to do that. So yeah, this is why we tell you guys, when you get a new printer, go open it up, take the main power wires out, and if they have solder on the ends of them, cut it off, strip it, and put the bare wires into the terminal and turn it and tighten it back down, because this is what can happen, and this can actually cause a fire. And speaking of things that can cause fires, is don't be like this guy. I saw this guy posting this and telling somebody to do this to their printer and showing this as an example. There's multiple problems with this. So you're taking the Chang-Lang power supply out of its case, which are known to be unreliable. You now have removed them from the metal case, and these now no longer have that whole entire case to use as a heatsink. And these are the MOSFETs, and these can also literally explode. You know, so you can see here, I told them, I was like, taking your PSU was out of the enclosure. That's also used as a heatsink and protection in the event that components blowing up is extremely dangerous. Do not do this. And he's like arguing with me. I tell him no. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'll show myself out of the group and find me a new supplier. That's fine. I don't care if I lost you as a customer. You're posting things that other people are going to try and emulate because they saw somebody else doing it. And this is dangerous, and you're stupid for disagreeing with me that this is dangerous. You clearly have no concept of electronics and how they work, and especially with a no-name power supply. Like, this is a dangerous modification. If you guys see people replacing like the top covers on their power supplies with printed ones, that's also stupid and dangerous, because the power supplies, when they do go, that metal case keeps all the sparky bits inside there. So yeah, and you can tell he also doesn't know what he's doing, because he's got heat sinks on top of drivers on a duet board. The duet boards do not need heat sinks on their drivers. They're like our easy boards. They're actually properly engineered, and the drivers don't sink the heat through the top of the chip. They sink it through the bottom. So this guy is just somebody that doesn't know what he's doing. And the problem is he's sending pictures and telling other people to do this as an example, and then posting his crap builds on here. So if you guys see somebody like this, tell them, let them, educate them. You know, don't be rude to them, but let them know. You know, I told him here, and then he, you know, was gonna be, I'm gonna be a carrot. I will find a new supplier. Okay, Ryan. I'm just trying to prevent you from burning your house down because you're doing stupid shit with your printer. Yeah, so don't do this. So that's some things I had to share with you guys. I don't think I had anything else queued up in here to share. I was just like most people, when I tell them, if I see like people using a printed cover, they'll be like, oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I'm going to switch back. You know, I think the best way, if you want to put a different size fan on your power supply, is just to get an adapter to go from the smaller like take the stock fan out and then put an adapter over the stock mounting thing and have the fan outside of it, but keep the metal case. Not only does the metal case keep the explodey bits inside and provide heat sinking for the MOSFETs, but it also prevents interference from getting outside of the power supply. So taking it out of there, you are now exposing the raw PCB that's not meant to be mounted like that to all the rest of your stuff. You've now got AC voltage lines that are, you can touch them and, you know, things will get zappy. It's just stupid. It's just so stupid, and just wanted to highlight that as an example of what not to do. So there you go. Ryan, like I said, I don't care if we lost you as a customer because you got offended that I was trying to prevent you from burning your house down. So yeah. All right. So if you guys are new to this, we do these Q&As where you can ask us questions about your printers. I do have one other update before we get into it, so you guys can ask your questions. If you want the questions to be answered, you have to put exclamation point Q in front of them. So exclamation point Q, a space, and then your question, and the bot will pick it up. The bot will reply to you with our TH3D Studio account, letting you know that it's added the question to the queue. Also, the like command doesn't work anymore because I forgot to back up my chat bot settings that had that programmed in there, and I have not set it back up. So just the cube. You can change the cube pattern. I never know where to point. Right there. You can change the cube. That works. But yeah, so I just posted an extensive guide. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's broken up into chapters on our Unified 2 firmware and how to use it from start to finish, including setting up VS Code. Visual Studio Code has changed some different things with how the program operates. One of the other things we added in the last major update is it will actually prompt you to install Platform IO extension if it's not installed. So that's nice. So literally all you have to do is it'll pop up in the right hand corner. It'll say, hey, this repository recommends this extension. Click here to install it, and it'll automatically install it and download it for you. So it's a lot simpler to set up. And one thing I noticed is that Platform IO also comes with its own bundled Python. So you actually don't need to have Python installed anymore. It just does it. So it's a little more streamlined. I'm going to be updating the text guide as well with the new directions. But I got a video out there. I mean, I might just replace, honestly, I might just replace the text instructions with the video. What do you guys think? Is that better? Do people, I feel like people prefer video form. The other thing is, I have started playing with Prusa Slicer. So this is actually a customer print. This is a test print. And this was printed with Prusa Slicer on my Ender 3 Pro. And it came out really nice. Look at that. Came out really nice. So these are like little trophies for a robotics competition. We're printing a bunch of these. This is just a test one. It's actually going to be done in a different color, but it came out really nice. So I'm slowly moving over all of my profiles to Prusa Slicer. I also like that it has integration with Octoprint, which I have on all of our machines here. So I can actually just have it send the sliced G-code file right to the Pi, which is nice. I did also have a call with the creator of OctoEverywhere, and I really actually like his setup. We were like, I guess you can call it partnered up, but like we were just kind of like promoting each other type of thing. The Spaghetti Detective, which is like rebranded itself like multiple times, and I actually kind of like this OctoEverywhere better than Spaghetti Detective. So this is free. I think it's for up to 3 printers, and the pricing is really, really good. So like, I'm just going to show you guys this right now. So you go to support our project, they have different levels, and you basically get, different features if you pay for it, but it's not bad at all. They also have where I think if you add more printers, it's like $1 a month per printer, but this allows you to get access to your printers outside of your home with no port forwarding. You can see I added 4 of my machines here. I don't know why is my 5 plus, why is my 5 plus acting up here? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So, but yeah, and like they have a thing here where you can just like click and it'll go right in. So this is actually going out over the internet, over their servers, and it doesn't give you like this weird, like stripped down interface like Spaghetti Detective does. This is a straight connection right into your Octoprint installation with no port forwarding and HTTPS and everything. So, I'm wondering if it's not happy with why. That might be why. Might not have set up the oh, let me remove it. Let me try this. I'm going to remove it and re-add it. Ender 5 Plus. Can I remove this? Might have to do it on the account. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay. So I can hit finish. Yeah, so you basically install the plugin and then it comes up. So let's see, we're doing this live, a little ballsy here. But I do like it. So you can do a quick view here with the printer, or you can actually just hit go to Octoprint and it just gives you your Octoprint access and there's no port forwarding, which is freaking awesome. And he does something with like a token, so like you can have like whatever URL you want. But this also works with Octoprint apps. So he's also worked with other Octoprint apps to get it to connect into other machines. So, but this is through his service right now, even though I'm local. Everything works. Like the webcam works. My Tasmota plugin for my Easy Plug works. Like everything just works. It's actually really slick. Yeah, I'm gonna probably be using this on my personal printers. I don't know if I'll use it on the print farm, but for my personal machines, to just have a quick at a glance of what everything's doing, it's kind of cool. So, and this can run on any Octoprint installation. I have I have it on multiple different ones. Some of these are Pi 3B pluses, some of these are 4s, and I got to add my Ender 3. Actually, let's add my Ender 3 right now. So I'm gonna go to my Ender 3's local IP address. Let's see. I'm putting them on the spot. We're going to see if it works. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Plugin Manager. I'm going to hit Get More. And go ahead and ask questions while I'm doing this. So OctoEverywhere. So I just type OctoE. I'm going to install this. They also do print failure detection. So like if it notices your printer's making spaghetti, it can notify you. And if you have the paid version, it can actually pause the print. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to install this. So let's see. All right, so it installed it. I'm going to hit restart now. All right, so it'll take a sec to restart, and then I'll be able to add this once it comes back up. It usually takes, I don't know, about 30 seconds. Reload this. I'm going to connect this. I actually wanted to connect this to my account. My other printer is still going, so you can't connect printers while they're printing. So this one was printing when I set it all up earlier. So let's see here. Yeah, it's lying. It says there's a new version of the server. There it is. Like I said, it usually takes about 30 seconds for Octoprint to restart. I've noticed on like the faster boards. All right, so I'm gonna hit complete my setup. And this is my Ender 3 Pro. You can't have spaces in the names because this determines the URL. So which is fine. So I'm gonna hit finish setup. All right, printer link established. I'm going to hit finish here. And then let's see. Let's see if this works. Is it going to show my 5 printers now? Yep, look at that. Look at that. That's pretty snazzy. Yeah, so Gadget is their like print watcher thing, which they have on the free plan. So like he does a lot of stuff for free, which I'm surprised because this has got to cost a decent amount to host. But I thought this is really cool. I just wanted to kind of highlight this. And we are going to be working on stuff where we're going to be promoting stuff. I told him if he wants to send us some cards to slip in with the kits, I'd be happy to do that. But this is a really slick solution without having to mess with VPNs into your home network, without having to do port forwarding. Like, this works pretty nice. And it's a full interface. Like, I don't have to use like some weird, you know, hacked down version of the UI. This is going through his. You can see the URL here. It's not my local IP address, and everything works. So there's that. I think that's pretty cool. You should see my printer connect in a sec here. I just turned on the Easy Plug that it's on, so it's going to try to connect to my printer. There we go, and we're connected. So let's see. So the frame rate, I will say, is a little bit low compared to local access, but I think if you have the paid version, it's a little bit quicker. So he's doing all this. Like I said, it's a free one. I'm on the free right now. So, but I thought it was pretty cool. So you can actually have access to your printer without having to deal with port forwarding or anything. So there we go. And it works with our new R4 Plus kit. So that's what this is. Our EasyPi R4 Plus is the new ones with the new Rock 4 boards. So I'm like, everything works. Let me say I keep getting nagged. I have a plugin update, and it's working with that too. So, all right. He also told me, if you Clipper fanboys, they also support Clipper as well. So if you guys want to use that, even though it's called OctoEverywhere, it does work with Clipper. So you're going to get remote access to your Clipper installs or your Octoprint installs without any port forwarding. So, all right. Let's get into the questions. So Julio Reyes says that he's hooking up his EasyPi and EasyPlug connected to Octoprint, but every time I hit the power button, it turns the printer on for a couple seconds and then turns off. So you could have to set a delay, and I'll show you. So it depends on your control board. And sometimes you have to play with the timing to get it right. So I will log back into my Pi, because I noticed with the Easy boards, you have to have a 12-second delay. So if you go into your settings and you go to Tasmoda and you got your plug here. So these are the settings I use. I use thermal runaway monitoring and power off on idle. And then I have those linked to the plug. So I have my plug here. I have those checks off on idle, thermal runaway, warning prompt. I usually check this, so I forgot to turn that on. So this basically makes it so if you click the power button, it asks you, are you sure you want to turn it off? Because we're printing right now. The other thing I noticed is I think the plug-in default is 10 seconds. It's 12 seconds. So set that to 12 seconds, and that usually will fix the issue. So I'll show you. So like if I set this to like 8, let me see here. So if I set that to 8, I think disconnect event monitoring. So if you have other stuff plugged on or turned on, it'll have issues. So like disconnect event monitoring means if the USB connection drops, it'll shut the plug off. That can also cause like a loop where things aren't going as fast. So let me see if I can replicate this. So I just set the delay to 8 seconds, which I know is too short, because basically what has to happen is when the plug turns on, the board has to boot up, and then the USB connection has to come up on the actual EasyPi kit, and that all takes a couple of seconds. So if I go here and refresh, we shouldn't see any port here, so there's no serial port. So I'm going to turn this on, and the serial port will show up. Now I set the delay too short. I think 8 seconds is going to be too short for this. Like I said, with the printers, I usually use a 12-second delay. So you can see here, it's trying to connect, and it's just not. And I believe if you have that disconnect event monitoring set, it will then just shut the plug back off. So, of course, it didn't do what I wanted it to do, which was bomb out. But here, let's try... let's try setting it lower. I know what you're talking about because I've had this on certain printers where the auto connect delay is too short and it just doesn't ever connect because the board's still booting up. Warning prompt, warm up printing. Let me see here, because some people turn all this on. So here, I'm going to turn on event monitoring. I'm going to turn on disconnect event monitoring, and then I'm going to associate that with the plug here. So you have to turn those on and turn this on. I'm going to set this to really short to see if I can just replicate what you're having, because I know it's going to be too short. And basically, if you have error event monitoring and disconnect and it doesn't connect in the allotted time, it's going to shut the plug off because it thinks something's wrong. So let me turn that off. I'm trying to break things. Why can't I break things when I want to break things? I want to break things right now to demo something, and it's not letting me break things. Damn it. Let's see if I broke it. Let's see if I broke it. So you can see here, the plug is on. Oh, there we go. So it shut it back off. Do you see that? So it just shut it off because it didn't connect in time. Now, if I just go, even with all these extra settings on, if I just go and set the auto connect delay to 12, it should be happy with that setting now. So it's going to wait 12 seconds before it tries to connect. So that gives the printer time to turn on, the board to boot up, and the USB connection to get established with the actual Pi kit. So after 12 seconds, we should see it trying to connect, and it should be happy with those settings. There we go. So that's probably what's happening. You probably have to set up your delay. Hopefully, I'm seeing Julio. Did you see that? I don't know if you're still here. Is that what yours was doing, where it would try to connect and then could not auto detect your printer and then it shuts the plug off? It's just a timing thing. So if the board is taking longer than the default to 10 seconds to turn on, and you have the other options here turned on, it's going to shut the plug off because it thinks it's a problem. So the error, error event monitoring, disconnect event monitoring, that will shut the plug off. So like here, I'll go unplug the USB cable from the printer. You guys can watch. You'll see the plug shut off because it thinks there's a problem. So I'm going to go pull the USB. And you can see how quick that responded. So as soon as that USB connection dropped, it shut the plug off, because that's a nice feature to use if you want to have like maximum safety. So like one use case is, let's say the print's failing and you don't want to pull the web interface up for Octoprint. You just go over there, pull the USB cable, it'll shut the whole printer off. You can see there. So it just lost connection because it shut it off. That was the plugin doing its job. So anyways, the other thing I would say, if it's still not playing nicely, like, or here, actually, here's a troubleshooting step. So if you go and disable, so if you go in here and want to rule out if it's the plug or not, because the plugs can go bad. Everything is going to stop working at some point. It is possible that the easy plug went bad. And we do have a 6-month warranty on those, and we just got more in. If you want to rule out the plug being the issue of turning off, just disable the error and disconnect event monitoring, because it should not shut it off then, even if it doesn't connect in the allotted time. So that's another troubleshooting step. You could also just directly hit the IP address of the plug. So like shut Octoprint down so it's not trying to connect to the plug and do stuff to it. But you could just go to the IP address of the plug here and just turn it on and off. So I could just turn it on and off. And if you turn it on from here and it stays on, then the plug's working fine. If it's still shutting, if that is staying on and you're still having, if the plug is staying on, manually turn on through the plug's interface itself, then it's something with the plugin trying to prevent an issue from happening. You know, like I said, maybe it thinks it's shutting it off because of the error or because of a disconnect, that kind of stuff. So typically I do run the error and the disconnect event monitoring on here. So I must have forgot to check those boxes when I set this particular Pi kit up. So, all right. If not, you can always contact us if you find out that the plug is the issue. So, all right. All right. Peter says, this print requires me to adjust the Z-Disc lower and lower for each print. I reset the EEPROM. I'm using EasyBoard V1.2 with Easy ABL. Not sure what's wrong. Update to the newer firmware. There was also something, I think Tor's in here. Certain slicers, there's certain, we were tracking this down where like the offset is like stacking. It's a software issue with a slicer problem, because when he was having issues with using, I think it was Super Slicer or Prusa Slicer, there was something it was emitting to the G code that was causing it to screw up the positioning of the sensor. We also disabled the Z fade because we thought that might be playing into it. It's not going to be a hardware issue. It's going to be something on the software side of things. I'm waiting to see if Tor chimes in with what other findings. Because we have like notes on this, and I have never been able to replicate the issue on my machines. But Tor was. Oh, also, yeah, update the starting G code. We did change our starting G code to be a little less aggressive in terms of how fast it moves the Z down, because we found that some printers, when it moved the Z down with the starting code, it was actually skipping steps, which would then throw off the Z offset because it was losing steps. So yeah, download our latest Easy ABL starting code, so that way it's running slower on the Z, because it could be something as simple as you're using the moving up or down. Yeah, we did adjust those settings because they were a little too aggressive. So Lost Ink is asking, does the EasyPi come with Arc Welder enabled? Do we even need Arc Welder anymore? Yes, it does come with enabled. I use it all the time here. And yeah, I think we still can use Arc Welder. It's going to be beneficial to the prints. Like this was a Prusa sliced print, and it was arc welded on the Pi side before printing, and it came out really nice. This was a 100mm/s print speed on my Ender 3 Pro. So, and I'm actually not even using input shaping. I just cranked up the speed. So, oh yeah, for those of you guys that are getting into the micro Swiss, Tor designed some new ducts here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is the 18mm Easy ABL mount. This is just a test print. My supports failed on this, so it's not that pretty underneath, but it's good enough to test fit it. and a 5015 fan mount instead of the little crappy 4010s that they come with. So we're working on some new duct revisions that we're going to post on our site. So Octoprint can handle arc welder as well. Yeah, I'm using arc welder on our EasyPi, which those run Octoprint. So I still think arc welder. I still think arc welder is good. All right. So Jonathan Martin asking, what do I think about the Prusa MK4? I just saw that, and I'm surprised they're cheaping out on the drivers because they're still using the TMC 2130s, which came out like 4+ years ago. I don't know why they're still using these ancient drivers on their boards, but if I was going to spend, I think it's $1,100 for the fully built one, I would rather just go buy a Bamboo because you're going to get more printer for the money. I mean, I think it's good that they finally refreshed it, but like, I mean, it's still a Prusa. Like, I have a Prusa MK3S. It works. Is it the best printer I have? No. I get better print quality out of upgraded Creality machines, but you know, it is reliable. I will say that. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't think they're worth the money. I would much rather, you know, if I'm getting a printer and I'm going to be in, you know, the $800 range, I'd rather just buy a what's it called? Just buy a, you know, an Ender 3 or something along those lines and upgrade it to what I want. Bean5's asking, are squash feet worth it? Oh, on the printers? So I know people that love those. I never got into those. So I'm going to leave that one up to Chad. If you guys use squash feet, like the little squishy, like almost putting like tennis balls underneath your printer for the feet to like reduce vibrations and noise. I've never done that. I guess I just have a higher tolerance for noise. But yeah, I know some people that have. I'd be worried about it making the printer unstable. Through Experience is asking, have I tried 3D Chameleon or any MMU? So 3D Chameleon I would not recommend because as far as I remember, the method they use, it's literally hot swapping steppers on your board because it's just using a switch to connect to a different stepper motor, and that is really bad to do to your drivers. You're not supposed to unplug stepper motors and plug them in when the printer's on because you can blow the driver. And that's exactly what their system is doing, is it's using a switch with it's like a four, not, you know, like double pull, double throw, but it's four, quadruple pull, quadruple throw. It's literally just like unplugging and plugging in different stepper motors, except it's doing it with a switch. It's not good for your board. In terms of multi-material stuff, I have used, and I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine because I never use it, but I have had the Palette 2S Pro, and that was a good one. I just don't do multi-material printing, but it did work really well, and I've heard good stuff about the number 3. Their software is really good too. That's the other thing with multi-material, is you can have the greatest hardware, and if the software isn't that great, it's hard to use. And I think the palette system is worth it. They put a lot of time and effort into their slicer. It works really well. They're very responsive on their support. I just don't use multi-material stuff. That's why I sold it. Did I submit my order for the Creality K1? No, I'm going to wait to see how bad it is. I see, hey, guys, you need to, if you want me to answer questions, you got to put exclamation point Q. It's literally right here. Come on. It's literally right here. Come on. All right. So, Yoga said he's recently getting under voltage warnings from his 3B Plus. He's a power adapter I used to sell. Any idea what could be the problem? It could just be going out, or if that power adapter has been plugged and unplugged a bunch of times, maybe the cable's got some strain. I couldn't tell you. Oh, also clean the contacts. I don't know where my deoxit is, but we did actually have issues with our Pis throwing under voltage warnings in the print farm and losing network connectivity intermittently. We cleaned all the contacts with deoxit and it just went away. So yeah. All right. Bimpen is asking, he has a custom build of the V2 Easy board. The probe tries probing off the bed. How do you fix that? So assuming everything else is correct, it sounds like your probe offsets are incorrect. So your probe offsets, in that case, you're probably using a custom probe setting. They might be inverted. Maybe you have a positive value where there should be a negative one, or vice versa. If it's trying to probe off the bed, that means that either could be a bunch of things. So it could be your steps per millimeter off and it's moving too far. your bed size could be off. So again, it's trying to move too far. Or the most common one is your probe offset is not actually correct. So I will actually take calipers, and we do this when we design mounts. I actually take calipers, measure from the tip of the nozzle to the tip of the probe on X, and then I'll go like this, and I'll do it on Y as well, tip of the nozzle to the tip of the probe. And that's how you should measure it if you're using a custom setup that's not one that's a pre-set up option. The other thing is if you change the probe offsets and you didn't reset your EEPROM, which I know you did because it's in the directions for our firmware. We're very, very vehement on that being the last step. Anytime you guys update the firmware, reset your EEPROM because old settings can linger in the EEPROM that will make things not work. So we actually just uploaded a 20-minute video from start to finish on our Unified 2 firmware, and I also uploaded the sections into clips, and one of those is resetting your EEPROM. So if you want to see how to do that from the LCD, you can actually look at that. We just posted that. So, all right. I got a question from JDoc. He's asking if there's any differences between the TMC 2226s and the 2209s. The answer is no. The only difference between the 2209s and the 2226s is the physical package that the driver itself is in. So the 2209s are in a square package and the 2226s are in a longer package. I can't remember the name of it, but basically the 2209s. So if you look here on an easy board, 2209s are in a little square package here, and the 2226s look more like these chips here where they have the pins just on two sides. Other than that, they're the same chips. They do the same thing. The other thing that's like that is the 2208s and the 2225s. The 2208s and the 2225s are the same story. Same chip inside, just a different physical package. So in terms of firmware setup, if you have 2226s, you would enter them into the firmware as a 2209. Same thing for the 2225. So if you have a 2225 chip on your board, like the V427 boards, those are set up as 2208. So the same chip, just different physical package. Because there's some board designers where they might have, you know, the footprint for the small square one, and that's what they want to use. And there's other packages or applications where that other, I think it's called a dual inline because there's two rows. I can't remember the correct term, but there is a term for that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's just a different physical package. The silicon inside is the same as far as I'm aware. All right. Being 500 millimeter second speed on Enter 3 Pro, that good? How? I've been tuning my profiles because I had to move over to Prusa. I'm moving over to Prusa Slicer. I'm tired of S3D. I'm glad to hear that they're updating version 5, but here's the thing that gets me about Simplify 3D. They used to be $150 got you a license. You could install it on 2 computers. Okay, I thought that was pretty generous. I was happy with that. Except now, if you go to the version 5, it's $200 a license, and you only get installed on 1 computer. I shit you not. I have 5 computers I use at any given time. This is my main one. I also have another office downstairs that I do work and play on. I have S3D down there as well. That would be a second license. I have 2 laptops. So we're up to 4, and depending on what I'm doing, I have a big laptop if I need horsepower on the road. I also have a small one if I'm traveling light. That's 4 computers right there, and then I have a 5th one that I use in the shop occasionally if I'm working out there with the guys. So I would have to spend $1,000 on Simplify 3D version 5 licenses to get the same thing that 3 licenses at $450 got me. Like, that's insane. So if I bought 3 version 4 licenses, I would have up to 6 installations with that login. Okay, that's $450. Still a lot of money, but we've had those licenses. We own as a company 4 S3D version 4 licenses, so we can have 8 installations. If we go to the version 5, we would have 4 installations, and I would have to buy more. I'm not doing that. And the other thing is they've changed the layout enough and the workflow enough where if I'm going to have to learn a new slicer, I'm just switching over to one of the open source ones, and I'm putting my eggs in the Prusa Slicer basket. I was originally playing with Super Slicer for a bit, and while it was nice, the dev seems to be kind of flaky about doing updates, and I know Prusa is going to keep their slicer updated. It works really well. I even have her here. Look at, I have Prusa Slicer on my computer. Look at that. I even got some filaments set. I got coax ABS and PLA. I got different layer heights. I got different printers set up. I even have these 2 already connected into auto upload to Octoprint. So the printers with the Easy Pies on it, which is all of them, I can just send the stuff over. I will say though, Prusa Slicer is very, very involved with the setup. So I'm still learning that, but I do like, I didn't like this initially, but I do like how you have your print settings, which is like your layer heights and speeds. And then you have filament settings, which is like the temperature, the diameter, the extrusion multiplier, your nozzle and bed temps, that kind of stuff. And then you have the printers themselves, which has like your bed size, your Z height, the starting G code, that kind of stuff. Once you wrap your head around how it works, I actually do like the workflow with this better. Yeah, I'm done with S3D. I'm moving over to Prusa Slicer. So, all right. Peter answer what's wrong with the K1? It's a new Creality printer, and we all know the first models are not always the best. And that one, they're marketing it a lot. I'm gonna wait to see after people have bought it and see how good it is. We don't need any more printers right now. All right. 3D Experiment says, any advice for bracing cheap 3D printer tails like the IKEA LAC? Locks will wobble during higher speeds. I would probably print or buy like some corner brackets to put on either side. So you got the legs, you know, there's 4 sides on the inner sides where you could bolt to the top of that. I would probably do something like that. I'm sure there's probably 3D printed mods that go over that and slip onto them. But you also got to remember those IKEA LAC tables. They're basically freaking cardboard. If you don't believe me, take one and punch it. Your hand will go through it, and it's literally cardboard inside with a veneer. They're not very sturdy, and you can't really anchor stuff to them really well. I believe around the edges there's like particle board, but I haven't had LAC tables in years. I used to have them when I first moved out. I had like the coffee table and the end table. But I got rid of those. All right. So Ben Penn says, first of all, thanks for taking all these questions. Is there a way to save and edit the easy firmware with the online easy config? Yes. So you can save it. Editing is going to be more involved, but I'll show you what it looks like. So you can save it if you want the settings. So let's find somebody to do the easy config. So tool is, I think GUI is the easy config. So let's see this, guys. So I'm going to download this file here. Yeah, so this was done with the easy config. You see here, auto config tool. So these are all your settings. So this is actually all you need. So you could copy this and save this, or save this configuration H file as a reference. You could do that. I typically will go the route of I'll edit the config file on my computer and then I'll upload it here. The other thing is, if you use the online editor here, you also will get a full-blown config file. And all the methods, no matter if you use the editor here or you use like this guy used the editor, if you get the config file, you can download it from every single one. So I'm trying to see here. He used the editor. Let me see here. I might be having a brain fart here. GUI is the, GUI should be the full one. I wonder if this guy uploaded his or copied and pasted. He might have done and just copied and pasted it, looking at this. Here, we'll just do a test here. So I'll just make an Ender 3 config here. Just a base Ender 3. And I'll submit it. And then here we go. So here's the config file. This should have a full config if memory serves correct. Yeah, so here. So the other guy must have been pasting it in. But yeah, so you can see here, it's a full config file. So if you did that and downloaded the file, you can save that. I could also then take this and re-upload it. So I downloaded that file. I could actually take this and re-upload it. And then it'll also compile it. So it'll do the needful. So there we go. It's compiling. So yeah, you can save your config file. You just want to grab this. It says upload a configuration H. That's what you want to grab. That has all your settings in it. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here, I was like, where are my questions? There was a configuration H file. Okay, so there's no more questions just being asked me. Hook us up with that Prusa Slicer Ender 3 profile. My profiles aren't that great. There are some settings I need to tweak, but I'm getting there. I am happy with this. I will say, one thing I do like about Prusa Slicer over S3D is all this text here. All this text here, S3D just straight up like just discarded. Whereas Prusa Slicer actually printed it. So that was another thing. So I am noticing that it is a more capable slicer again, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make the jump, make the switch. Yeah. So does anybody have any other questions? We're out of questions right now. Anyone? How many of you guys saw the videos we posted? I uploaded a bunch of them. Come on. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up. I'm willing to go a couple minutes over since I was late, since I was on a customer call. Peter Anderson, S3D5 is actually really good. Sorry. I didn't say it was bad or that it didn't work. I said I didn't think it was worth the money anymore, considering we would have to spend, I would have to spend $1,000 on licenses to buy one for each printer or for each computer I use, which Fusion 360 has a floating license. If you guys have paid for Fusion 360, which we do, you load it and you can use it on one computer at a time. And for me, that's fine. I don't care if they do that. I don't understand why they don't have like a floating license. Yeah, it doesn't, it bothers me. I don't think it's worth the money anymore. Oh no, I'm not an S3D shill. Losting, so you can add text directly to from Prusa Slicer. Yeah, I did notice there's a lot more model manipulation. Span the timeline saw. Yeah, I did upload all those. We don't do that often. I have been pulling down. I got last week's Ask Tim. I'm going to cut that up and I'm going to schedule them to come out like once a day. How many of you guys that like either missed a stream or just wanted to go and revisit a certain topic? How many of you guys actually watched the Ask Tim clips that we've been uploading? So, are we going to be doing the drawing today? I guess we could, because, I mean, we're probably not, it's the 29th, we got 2 more days. I don't know if we're going to do another stream this week. We might. I would like to, get the Sunlu S8 done. You watched the clips. Mark says he watched the clips. I mean, even I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. So I am going to take the time to, split those up. I actually got the idea from a bunch of other channels. I think there's a channel on here called Valuetainment. They were like very business oriented. I watched them back in the day. He expanded like podcast formats and stuff, which I enjoy watching. But I noticed that they started doing that, and there's a couple other channels I watch that also do that. And I do think it's nice because like then it kind of gives you an idea. I did record like a little intro, or not an intro, but outro, telling people, hey, if you want, this is from this Ask Tim, and then I pop up the card with the link to that stream it was from. I also put the date in there. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing after this stream is I'm going to be cutting up that one from last week, and then I'll download this one and do the same. So we'll have clips. So anyways, I think that's about it. You guys are very quiet today, surprisingly, but I do have, we have good doggos. I don't know if you can see. What do you... Doggos? I'm a doggo. You are very quick about getting up. He's like, it's food time. It is food time. Yeah? Do you guys want snackies? Of course they do. You guys are so food motivated. Let's say. Yeah, you guys want some snackies? Look at Comet sitting down like a good boy. I think Comet's gonna get the first treat. You guys need to sit. Comet, shake. Good boy. Look how gentle he took that. Remo, you can speak. Give me a big one. Yeah, good boy. Shake. Good boy. There you go. You get to catch it on. Comet, down. Sit. Come on, sit. Sit. Come on. We are working on the sit from down. Come on, sit. I have a tree here. Come on, sit. Comet. Comet. Come here, Comet. Look, but I'm on the floor and I'm comfy. Sit. Sit. Nope, that's down. Whatever. You're still a baby. All right. Anyways, and Comet was passed out loud. I heard him snoring. You guys probably couldn't hear him. He was snoring his ass off over there. So, anyways, yeah. check out, if you guys have an Octo printer or Clipper setup and you guys want easy remote access, I'll give OctoEverywhere a shout out. I really like it. I'm going to be putting it on all of my printers here. This one is printing, and I can't install plugins in Octoprint while it's printing. But I'm going to be adding the rest on here. So I have one other machine that's still down. And I think what I'm going to do, because I need to obviously test, like we got these big boards. So we're going to be doing firmware for the Octopus 1.1. I also have the MKS version, the Monster 8, which we're going to be selling these soon. I got to get firmware done, and I think I'm going to put this on Bertha. I'll probably do a Hangout stream where I'm swapping that out. I think that's got an EasyBoard V1 in there, and it works, but I also got to fix other stuff on that printer. I kind of want to also put a MicroSwiss NG on there. I'll show you guys. So we carry MicroSwiss stuff now. I don't know if you guys saw that. We did make an announcement, and we'll be sending our maker email out after the stream today. But I put it on my Ziltech Gear V2 because I hated the stock hot end setup on it. There was like no options for aftermarket cooling on it. You know, the stock cooling just sucked. It sucked so much. And nobody really made aftermarket fan mounts for it. So this is now my Ziltech Gear V2. I actually had to do a little bit of modification. So I ended up printing a Creality end stop cover here and change the end stop cable to plug into this. So this actually hits this because the stock end stop board was down here. I replaced the X cable, but it prints really nice now. So basically it's like a kind of a CR10, and I got our Easy ABL 18 on there, and then I actually have an adapter here to go from the 5015 to the 4010 duct. But the duct I showed you guys earlier, this one here, the Tor design, I'm going to be swapping out for this because this is all one piece. So but this prints really well. I'm very, very impressed with the NG extruders. Now, they are on the more expensive side, but in terms of an all-in-one solution, and they're also made in the US, I really like them. So they print really great. Like, I love it. So anyways, we got more options for extruders and hot end stuff. So we also carry MicroSwiss's all metal Creality replacement hot end. So you just want to take your Creality hot end off, put an all metal on. We carry those as well. Yeah, and I do agree, the sensor mount is far away on the stock one. This is our revision, so you see it puts it a lot closer to the hot end. So yeah, we're already on it. We are on it. So anyways, but it works great, so I can't really complain. Yeah, so I think that'll wrap that up. The doggos got their treats, and now they're like, we're awake. We're gonna start making noise. So anyways, we do these streams every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. If you guys want to get notified when we go live, there is a YouTube notification sign-up link in the bottom that will email you before we go live. We send out an hour before the stream. We also try to send out video links when we post new content, but when I post a ton of stuff, it makes it hard to keep up. Oh, he's getting heavy. Look how big this guy is. Do you guys remember when he was a tiny little puppy a couple months ago? Yeah, we're not a tiny little puppy anymore. Oh, so anyways, I'll see you guys on the next stream. I hope you guys learned something. I gotta get over my button. I gotta get to the button. So everybody, say bye. Comment, no, comment. You gotta say bye. Say bye. Bye, everybody. Happy printing. Comment wants more treats. You want more treats?